Chapter first, Herbs as Raw Material. Introduction. Chapter first, Herbs as Raw Material. Introduction. Herb. Plant whose stem do not produce woody, persistent tissue and generally dies back at the end of each growing season. In pharmacognosy, herb is a drug composed usually of a tender part of the plant axis. Herbal medicine. The definition of a herbal medicine is the use of plants to prevent and treat an illness or to achieve good health, as well as the drugs and tinctures that are used. An example of herbal medicine is using a tincture made from ginger to relieve an upset stomach, also known as herbalism, phytomedicine, or phytotherapy. Herbal medicinal product. Herbal medicinal products are medicinal products where the active ingredient consists exclusively of herbal substances or herbal preparations. Herbal drug preparations. Herbal preparations consist of finished herbal products and may include comminuted or powdered herbal materials or extracts, tinctures, and fatty oils of herbal materials. They are produced by extraction, fractionation, purification, concentration, or other physical or biological processes. Sources of herbs. Herbs or medicinal plants can be obtained from two sources, and that are first, wild sources, second, cultivated sources. Wild sources. The plants are obtained from the wild sources such as forests, plains, river banks, etc. Obtaining herbs from wild sources is very economical, less time consuming, and decreased cost of labor. Disadvantages of wild sources. Quality of plant cannot be predicted due to various environmental changes. Plants will not be uniform in their growth and yielding characteristics. Modern scientific techniques cannot be applied to increase the yield as well as quality. Collection from wild sources for a prolonged period may lead to depletion of raw material in the wild. Next is cultivated source. In recent times, medicinal plants have been systemically cultivated by applying modern scientific techniques. Advantages of cultivated sources. Quality and purity is ensured. Better yield and more profit. Ensures regular supply of raw material. Application of modern scientific techniques is possible. Note: crop planning means ensuring regular supply of raw material to the industry. Application of scientific techniques. It means tissue culture, genetic engineering, and hybridization. Next topic is steps involved in selection, identification, and authentication of herbal material. First step is selection of herbs. Second, identification and authentication. Third, cultivation of herbs. Fourth, collection of herbs. Fifth, processing of herbal raw material. First, selection of herbs. The species or botanical variety selected for cultivation should be the same as specific in the official pharmacopoeia or national documents. In case of newly introduced medicinal plants, the variety selected for cultivation should be identified and documented. Selection of new herb is performed by different approaches. A. Totally random selection. B. Specific selection, that is by using ethnopharmacological reports. C. Novel approach like computer-based selection method. Identification of herbal raw material. Botanical identity. The species, subspecies, genus, variety, etc. of the plant for cultivation should be verified from a qualified botanist, institute, and recorded. Specimens. In case of a new plant with medicinal properties whose identity is not known, a specimen of the plant should be submitted to a national herbarium for identification and documentation. Seeds and other propagation materials. The suppliers of seeds and other propagation materials should specify all the necessary information relating to the identity, quality, as well as their breeding history. The seeds and propagation material should be free from contamination and disease in order to promote healthy plant growth. Next is cultivation of medicinal plants. Cultivation of medicinal plants require intense care and management as various factors such as environment, soil, irrigation, pests, etc. play a vital role. The factors vary from one plant to another. Scientific documented methods should be followed. If no data available, traditional methods should be adopted and a systemic method should be developed through research. Good agricultural practice in cultivation, that is GACP, and conservation agriculture, that is CA, which aims to improve, conserve, and make more efficient use of natural resources. Next is collection of herbs. It means harvesting of plant material. For the collection of medicinal plants, some important things to be kept in mind. A. Proper time should be selected. B. Stage when they yield maximum amount of chemical constituents. C. Skilled labor should be employed. D. Age of the patient. Age of the plant. E. Diseased plant should be rejected. Processing of herbal raw material. Processing of herbal raw materials involves various stages from which the crude drugs undergo harvesting. Classification of processing: A. Primary processing. B. Secondary processing. Note: cultivation of medicinal plant is also known as propagation.